Hello, I'm Miranda, and welcome to another Warmachine Battle Report.
Minions, turn 3.
So, Codex Dan came to visit, so we recorded a 35-point game of Khador versus Minions. Today I am bringing the Old Witch of Khador with Scrapjack, the Behemoth, and Silas Wishniller, a full unit of Winter Guard with the unit attachment and Kovnik Joseph Grigorovich, a Winter Guard mortar crew, a unit of Widowmakers, the Manhunter solo, the Widowmaker solo, and Gorman de Wolf. Minions is led by the Pharaoh Warlock Midus in Tier 4 of the theme Butcher's Block. He has a Roadhog and 6 Razor Boars. He also has a unit of Slaughterhousers, a minimum unit of Bone Grinders, a minimum unit of Pharaoh Brigands, and 2 full units of Bone Grinders. Midus also has a Warhog who begins the game destroyed. This is granted by his Tier 4 benefit. We are playing the Steamroller 2014 scenario, Process of Elimination. 2 12x6 zones have been placed, along with 2 monolith objectives. I win the starting roll and decide to go first. The Old Witch hangs out with Behemoth at the end of the deployment zone. Gorman and Silas stay behind her. Scrapjack and the mortar crew take up the left flank, while the Winter Guard unit take up the opposite flank. Midus begins at the edge of his deployment zone, surrounded by Razor Boars and a unit of Bone Grinders. The Roadhog is off to the right. The remaining Brigands, Slaughterhousers, and Bone Grinders are deployed on the left. The Manhunter deploys near the Widowmakers, near a forest on the far edge of the field. The Roadhog has advance move under the theme and advances 5 inches. Khador, turn 1. The Old Witch allocates 1 focus to Behemoth's primary cortex and 1 to Scrapjack. The mortar crew activates and issues a run order, then moves 8 inches up the field into the rubble. Behemoth activates and spends a focus to run 8 inches ahead. The Widowmakers activate and run into the forest. The Winter Guard unit activates and issues a run order. They then proceed up the field. Kovnik Joe moves up and gives his speech, Courage of Our Forefathers, granting tough and fearless to the Winter Guard. The Old Witch activates and moves up 5 inches into the rubble. She then spends 2 focus to cast Iron Flesh on the Winter Guard. She then spends another 2 focus to cast Avatar of Slaughter on Scrapjack. Silas moves up to stay near the Old Witch. Gorman moves up and throws a smoke bomb, granting him and the Behemoth concealment. The Widowmaker solo walks into the forest with the other Widowmakers. Scrapjack spends a focus to run up and tow into the rubble. Finally, the Manhunter runs upfield on the far flank. Minions, turn 1. The Roadhog activates and goes full bore for 1 Fury. He takes 3 points of damage to Spiral 6. He then moves 7 inches upfield. Midus activates and spends 3 Fury to heal the Roadhog. He then advances 5 inches into some rubble and discards his remaining Fury. All of the Razor Boars activate separately and are forced to run up the field and into the central zones. The Brigands activate and advance 5 inches, staying in a line. They then all dig in, and the leader performs the prayer Heroic Call, granting the unit tough and fearless for a round. The minimum Bone Grinders unit runs up behind the Roadhog. A full unit of Bone Grinders issues a run order as well. The Slaughterhousers activate and issue a run order, advancing 10 inches up the field. And finally, the last full unit of Bone Grinders runs up. Khador, turn 2. The Old Witch keeps 3 focus and allocates 3 focus to Behemoth's subcortex and 1 to Scrapjack. She and Silas upkeep spells for free. The Mortar Crew activates and targets a Slaughterhouser. He is just out of my 20-inch range, so the attack automatically misses and drifts 6 inches, catching a Bone Grinder. I roll dice -7 for damage and cause no harm. The Winter Guard activate and issue a Bob and Weave order, then advance up the board. They are now defense 17 with Iron Flesh. 3 Winter Guard target a Razor Boar with a combined ranged attack. They need a 5 to hit, and just barely make it. It's dice +1 for damage, and I cause 10 damage to the pig. Two other Winter Guard follow suit and target a different Razor Boar. They need a 6 to hit, but miss. 2 more Winter Guard target the same Razor Boar with a CRA, also needing a 6, and also missing. Finally, 1 lone Winter Guard takes a solitary shot at another Razor Boar. He needs a 7 to hit and makes it. He rolls dice -2 for damage and causes 9 damage to Spiral 1. Kovnik Joe moves up and repeats his speech to grant the unit tough and fearless. He takes a shot at an already injured Razor Boar, needing a 7 to hit, which I make. The shot is enough to kill the Razor Boar. Midus collects the Fury and gains a bone token. The Widowmakers activate and move up. 1 targets a Slaughterhouser, needing a 5 to hit. She just makes it and triggers the Slaughterhouser's tough roll, which fails. The Widowmaker makes a swift hunter movement back 2 inches. The next Widowmaker targets the Slaughterhouser just past the dug-in unit, but misses the shot. The third Widowmaker takes a shot and hits one of the Slaughterhousers, who then fails his tough check. The last Widowmaker targets a Slaughterhouser, but misses. Behemoth activates and moves up 4 inches. He targets the Roadhog with his Bombard cannons. He needs an 8 to hit, boosts the shot, and makes it. It's dice -4 for damage, which I boost, causing 10 damage to Spiral 6. Behemoth takes a second shot, which I boost, again needing an 8. The shot makes it and causes 4 damage to Spiral 5. The Old Witch moves up and pops her feet Field of Talons. Enemy models cannot run, charge, or make special attacks and ending their movement in her control range causes damage. The Old Witch then spends 3 focus to cast Murder of Crows, placing a 5-inch cloud over a portion of my Winter Guard and snipers. Gorman walks up and uses a smoke bomb to conceal him and the Old Witch. Silas advances to stay close to my Warcaster. Scrapjack runs toward my mortar crew. The Widowmaker solo moves up and shoots at the pesky Slaughterhouser from earlier. He needs a 4 to hit, and makes it. The Slaughterhouser fails his tough check and dies. Swift Hunter triggers and the Widowmaker moves back 2 inches. The Manhunter, not needed on the flank, moves in toward the center of my army. Minions, turn 2. Midus reaves 5 fury off his warbeast and cuts for 1. A razor board advances across the zone, but ended up moving into the Old Witch's control area, so he takes a power 14 damage roll, but only takes 2 damage to Spiral 2. The flanking Bone Grinder unit advances up toward my Widowmakers. The leader shoots an arcane bolt at a Widowmaker, and gains +2 due to Confluence. So he needs a 6 to hit, and makes it. The Widowmaker dies instantly. The Brigands activate, issue a run order, and go hog wild. They move up to engage my Widowmakers. A Razor Boar moves into the concealment of the rubble, and stays out of the Old Witch's control area. He riles for 2 fury. Another Razor Boar moves and riles for 2 fury. 2 other Razor Boars sacrifice their movement and end their activation. The center unit of Bone Grinders activates and embeds in with the Slaughterhousers. The leader shoots an arcane bolt at a Winter Guard, gaining a +1 on attack from the Confluence ability, as only 1 other model was within an inch. He needs a 10 to hit and just misses. The last Bone Grinder unit shifts around and attempts to target a Winter Guard, but he is just out of range of my soldier. The Roadhog activates and moves back into the rubble. Midus activates and spends 5 fury to heal the Roadhog. The remaining Slaughterhousers issue a run order and move up in front of the Roadhog. Khador, turn 3. The Old Witch allocates 3 focus to Behemoth's primary cortex and 1 to Scrapjack. The Mortar Crew activates and targets a Slaughterhouser, needing an 8 to hit. The mortar misses and drifts 1 inch, catching the Slaughterhouser and a Bone Grinder. I rolled dice -7 and trigger the Slaughterhouser's tough roll, which he fails. I roll dice -6 on the Bone Grinder and kill him as well. Kovnik Joe activates and gives his speech, "For the Motherland," which boosts the attack rolls of himself and the Winter Guard. He then shoots at a Razor Boar, needing a 7 to hit, and makes it. I roll dice -2 for damage and cause 6 damage to Spiral 1, and knocking out his mind. The Winter Guard activate, issue a bob and weave order, and move up the field. 1 Winter Guard makes a spray attack targeting the Razor Boar in the rubble. He is just out of range of the boar, however, but catches the Roadhog. The spray hits the Roadhog, but does no damage. The next Winter Guard takes a normal shot at a Slaughterhouser, needing a 7, which connects easily. It's dice -3, and I trigger the enemy's tough roll, which fails. Another Winter Guard shoots at a Slaughterhouser, again needing a 7, but this time he misses. The next Winter Guard takes a shot at the same Slaughterhouser. He hits and triggers the tough check, which fails, and kills the last Slaughterhouser. One Winter Guard makes a spray attack at a Bone Grinder in the rubble. I need a 7 to hit, but miss. Another Winter Guard sprays into the rubble at a Bone Grinder and hits, causing dice -4 for damage. I trigger the tough roll, which the Bone Grinder fails. A Winter Guard shoots at a Brigand, needing a 7. The shot connects and triggers a tough check, which the Brigand fails. A Winter Guard makes a spray attack at a Bone Grinder, which also catches a Razor Boar. I hit both targets and roll dice -4 on the Razor Boar and cause 3 damage to Spiral 5. It's dice -4 on the Bone Grinder, and I destroy him. One soldier takes a regular shot at a Razor Boar, needing an 8, which hits. It's dice -2, and I cause 3 damage to Spiral 4. The next Winter Guard shoots at the same Razor Boar. He hits easily, but only causes 1 damage to Spiral 5. Determined to kill at least 1 pig, the last Winter Guard shoots at a Razor Boar. The shot hits and causes 7 damage to Spiral 5. But the pig still lives. The Widowmaker solo moves and takes a shot at a Brigand. He needs a 4 to hit and makes it. The Brigand fails his tough check and dies. The Widowmaker unit activates and shifts to not leave melee with the Brigands. The one unengaged Widowmaker takes a shot at a Bone Grinder toward the back. She needs a 5 to hit and succeeds and kills the model. The Manhunter activates and charges a Brigand. She needs a 4 to hit, but manages to miss. Her second attack hits, however, and triggers another tough roll that fails. The Behemoth activates and charges the Monolith objective. It is automatically hit in melee, so I just roll damage, which is dice +3. The objective takes 13 damage. I boost the damage for the second initial attack, since I allocated too much focus, and destroy the objective, scoring Khador 1 control point. Behemoth fires his bombard cannons at the Bone Grinders. The first shot misses and drifts harmlessly away. The second shot targets a Razor Boar, which misses. The Old Witch activates and casts Murder of Crows to place a cloud effect which blocks a charge lane to Behemoth. She then moves toward the Winter Guard. Gorman moves up and drops another smoke bomb to give the Old Witch stealth. Scrapjack activates and charges the Razor Boar in the zone. With Avatar of Slaughter, he only needs a 6 to hit, and makes it. It's dice -2 for damage, and I kill the boar. Midus gains another bone token. Scrapjack then moves back an inch because of Avatar of Slaughter. Khador gains another control point and is now at 2-0. Minions turn 3. Midus reaves Fury and cashes in his bone tokens for 2 more, bringing him to a total of 8 Fury. The small Bone Grinder unit activates and positions to contest the zone that Behemoth and Scrapjack were controlling. The Bone Grinder leader does his star action Craft Talisman on Midus to increase the range of his next spell by 2 inches. Midus activates and moves up 5 inches and places a curse on my Winter Guard unit. The Bone Grinders now gain +2 movement and +2 to attack rolls against my Winter Guard. Midus then spends 3 Fury to cast Hex Blast on the Winter Guard, and 1 more Fury to boost the attack roll. He needs a 9 to hit the Winter Guard, and makes it. Iron Flesh drops off my Winter Guard unit, and the 3-inch AoE catches 2 more soldiers. The model directly hit his kill. He rolls dice -6 for damage on the other 2. Midus boosts against the Standard Bearer and kills him. Midus boosts damage on the other Winter Guard but fails to exceed his armor. Midus spends 1 fury to heal a razor boar and restore his spirit, then camps the last fury. The Bone Grinders move up and shoot an arcane bolt at the now defense 14 Winter Guard. With Confluence, he hits on anything but double ones. The attack hits and destroys the Winter Guard. The Brigands activate and say the prayer March to gain Pathfinder. They then charge my Widowmakers and Manhunter. The Brigand needs an 8 to hit my Manhunter and makes it. He rolls dice -4 for damage and kills the Manhunter. The attack on the Widowmaker also hits and kills. The freshly healed Razor Boar activates and skirts around my Winter Guard to engage 2 instead. He boosts an attack on my soldier, needing a 9, and makes it. The Winter Guard is destroyed. The Razor Boar is forced to attack the second soldier, but misses. Another Razor Boar moves up to engage a Winter Guard, but does not attack. The Roadhog activates and goes full bore, taking 1 damage to Spiral 1, and gaining +2 speed and Pathfinder. He then charges the back of a Razor Boar. The charge will fail, but before that he can make an assault shot with his heavy flamethrower at the Razor Boar. Since the heavy flamethrower is a spray 10, it also catches a Winter Guard and the Old Witch. He needs a 6 to hit the boar, succeeds and rolls dice -2 for damage, which destroys the model. Midus gains a bone token. The Roadhog boosts the attack roll on the Winter Guard, needing a 9 to hit. It succeeds and kills the Winter Guard, and triggers a command check, which thankfully I pass. The Roadhog boosts to hit the Old Witch. He needs a 10 to hit and makes it. The Old Witch is now on fire. The damage is dice -2, which he also boosts, and the Old Witch takes 12 damage. A Razor Boar moves up and attacks a Winter Guard, needing a 9 to hit. He makes it and kills another soldier. The last Razor Boar is forced to run and engages a couple of Winter Guard. The last unit of Bone Grinders activate and move upfield. The leader takes a shot at a Winter Guard hiding behind a wall. He is defense 18, and the Bone Grinder needs a 6 to hit with Confluence. The shot connects and destroys the Winter Guard. Not bad for a 3-point unit. Khador, turn 4. It's the moment of truth to see if the fire goes out on the Old Witch. I need a 1 or a 2. I roll a 3. The Old Witch takes a power 12 damage roll, which is dice -2. Dan rolls an 8, which is enough to kill the Old Witch and result in a minion's victory. But Dan isn't the type to rub that sort of thing in. And later on, he was nice enough to sit down and discuss the battle with me. So to talk about the game today, we had what? Pigs versus Khador, Midus versus the Old Witch of Khador, which was going to be so spectacular for me until I got fire.
Yeah, it turns out pigs with flamethrowers are nasty.
Just the one, really.
Yes.
So as far as the list build part of it, like, kind of where were you coming from as far as, like, you knew you were going to fight Khador?
In my mind, I was worried because Khador has that, especially because I know you liked Winter Guard. Well, you love Winter Guard, let's be honest.
They're my best paint
And
models.
so with, boosted attack rolls and everything, and tough and defense, what, like 17 they get to?
Yeah, they can get up to 17.
Yeah, so it's just like, I got Hex Blast and stuff, but it's just like, pigs have to bring kind of hordes of infantry and hope you don't have enough to kill them all. But with all the sprays and all that kind of stuff, I was just like, I'm not sure what I'm going to be able to do against it. But Midus's tier is kind of, there's only so much you can do with it. So I like to bring just a horde of razor boars, mostly because they're annoying. They're like 2-point solos with 14 boxes that are 13-14, like defense stats. And then they can kill things, and you can let them frenzy, who cares? And then when they die, they give you more bone tokens, which gives you the extra fury to actually allow Midus to use his awesome spell list.
Yeah.
Because at 6 fury, you're just too strapped. You have to boost one spell, and you have no fury to do anything else.
That's true.
So you let lots of razor boars die, and then there you go. You got the fuel, which was necessary in that one turn.
It was.
And then, then you just find a way to get your assault spray onto their caster.
Which that's kind of like the whole Rugobar machine for that, right? Like,
right. It's, well, honestly, if you're so much shoot, even though it's Khador, it was basically all shooty list.
Well, combined arms. So I mean, they could see the Winter Guard could see him if they needed to, but at the end of the day, I was wondering if maybe it might have been better to have brought Kayazi. But generally, I love the combined arms approach. So I'm always like, okay, well, Widowmakers are going to shoot off the support or the scary guys, which they got rid of your.
Slaughterhousers.
Yes, the slaughterhouses. They got rid of those pretty quickly, thank goodness. And then the Winter Guard, I mean, for the most part, their defense can get high enough that they can shoot, or if they need to, they can get into melee. But after I lost Iron Flesh, that was kind of like they were dying pretty fast. Yeah, you sacrificed, no tough to be able to kill my guys a lot more efficiently. Which I did kill a lot more.
But I did spread out enough that it wasn't too bad for me. I still had a lot of follow-up guys, but it just got to the point where it's like you out-threaded me, and if I ran into you, then you would kill me faster than I could kill you. Yeah. And I had that one turn where I could have jumped on you, and everything was looking great. I was like, okay, I'm going to be able to do this, and you feet. And I'm like, well... Yeah, none of my army can go anywhere near you.
I'm pretty proud of my feet timing on that. But,
yeah, it was perfect.
But I also knew I had to get up on attrition fast because your feet, which you didn't even use for this game, but your feet would have brought back all of your war beasts plus a new one. Yeah, so.
Which was a heavy. And even though they only come back with, one health in each aspect. Right, so they're pretty easy to kill, but depending on the situation, you can run like Midus off to the side and then feet and bring them, like you can spend a total of optimally 9 fury, and then they all get 12 boxes instead of just 3.
Oh wow, yeah.
So that's possible, but the way it was looking, it was just luckily you focus your jacks all on one side. So I was just like, all right, well, I just have to burrow through these guys, and you made it really easy when you put the Feast to Crows, that cloud over them. So I was like,
well, I made the choice easy.
Yeah. So I was like, well, Hold Witch is camping nothing, and I can't touch her jacks over here.
Yeah.
And so let's go for the Winter Guard, burrow through them, kill as much as I can. I'll push over here, spend some guys so you're not completely controlling the zone.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of a worry as well. It's like, well, I'm kind of losing an attrition here. I haven't touched your jacks at all, and I've had to heal my war beast a lot, so I had to go for your caster. You kind of forced me into that.
I'm sorry?
It's your own fault. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I was doing such a good job protecting Behemoth, but then, So, I don't know, it ended up being a very interesting game. I can't let it stand, so you will see me fight Dan again until I beat him repeatedly.
I think Killbox really ruined you in this game.
No, that's a good point. Killbox for this scenario is just not friendly to the Old Witch, and there was not really much in the way of terrain right up at the 14-inch or further in mark.
It was a spray that got you. Wouldn't have mattered.
It was a spray that got me. That's
true.
And
it was off my own
But just not being able to stay far back enough,
Yeah.
Because that's 10 inches. You can go up to 10 inches with your
so I can go full bore.
Full bore.
Hogwile's something different, Miranda.
Sorry.
Go full bore.
It's pig names.
You take D3 damage, and then you get speed 7, and you get Pathfinder.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden you can charge 10, spray 10. You got 20-inch threat.
It's incredible.
And I was touching my kill box with the back of my base of my heavy war beast, and then the Roadhog charged at an angle and still reached Old Witch because it's that 20-inch little perfect. So I very much like Killbox with my Midus list.
That's true, because she wouldn't have been anywhere near there if it wasn't a Killbox scenario, which, I don't know, maybe it just would have been worth it for that one turn, even taking it back, but...
Yeah. I debated actually going for a turn before, but with the POW 14, you might have knocked out an aspect. I wouldn't have been able to boost or do enough damage.
Yeah.
And then I would have guaranteed lost my Roadhog, and so I had to fall back. Like I hate doing that so much, but you kind of it made a lot of sense. You just pulled army back.
Yeah.
You still killed a lot, but not near as much as if I had just skirted right at the edge of the.
Yeah, that's true. And I was even wanting to get that Roadhog because I could have gallowsed it out, but he got so far back that it would have been. I would have at least needed 2, and I would have needed good D6 rolls to get it up there. So.
Yep.
Too risky. So.
Midus, initial thoughts on fighting the pigs.
They're good. Like, I guess their infantry isn't amazing, but their little beasts don't. Their big beasts, I should say, don't seem bad, and they're so cheap. I mean, I can
just swarm. I guess I didn't do much to you at all until kind of at the end.
It was at the end. Yeah, you cleared out the winter guard you needed, and then set the witch on fire and rolled amazing on her. And then
you were
she
rolling
didn't go
great.
out.
You were rolling good all game though, and I didn't make one tough roll.
Yeah,
I had like 10 models die without a tough roll.
That's true. He didn't make one tough roll. It was kind of funny.
It's okay, I killed you.
All right, well, thank you guys for watching. Whatever your thoughts are, please put them in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.
Stay tuned to watch me kill Miranda again.